live from IBC at RAI in Amsterdam. We're here with Lorenzo Zanni, and Lorenzo is the head of knowledge of IABM. Lorenzo, welcome to this interview.
Thanks.
How are you doing?
Thank you, Andrew. I'm well. How are you?
Now it's switching in. It's going very great. One question that pops up my mind immediately was when I saw your title, a head of knowledge. It's a great title. I want to be it, but can you tell me or explain what does a head of knowledge do?
Yeah, definitely. I often have to do that because it encompasses a lot. I think the most important thing that I do, which is the majority of my job, is research, market research on the media technology sector. So this is a lot of what we do in the business intelligence team in IABM, so I look after that. And more generally, I look after the content we produce, so the content we produce at events that generally has synergies with the research that we do as well.
Okay.
So it's about that.
So both content, you're at both sides.
Yeah.
You research how it is being produced and you produce it as well.
Yeah, so in terms of the research, we have a hybrid approach to our research. Mm-hmm. So we both do surveys of media companies and media technology suppliers in terms of the trends that they're seeing in media technology, in terms of investment, business models, and other things as well. Mm-hmm. We also do in-depth interviews with both media businesses and media technology suppliers, and we recently launched market sizing offerings, mm-hmm. Looking at sizing the media technology market and producing reports in terms of different trends in different content supply chain segments, so a deep dive in different content supply chains.
Okay, interesting. So as a head of knowledge and being so close to the broadcasters, doing the service, doing the deep dive interviews with them, walking around this expo, you must have seen some trends coming up that are, what of those trends you think are really underrated, or what ones are a bit overrated maybe?
Yeah, very interesting question. I think there have been some in the last few years, I would say. I think what has been maybe a bit overrated is the kind of increasing resolution, so that 4K and 8K.
What is the end?
What is the end of that?
How many pixels does it take?
I think in previous years there's been a bit of focus on that from the industry, and we've not seen a lot of interest in that from both, I would say, media businesses and consumers alike. I think what's been underrated is what's quality of content? Is it just resolution and the image, or is it something more multidimensional, so that encompasses maybe engagement, interactivity, and other things as well, particularly when it comes to the younger generations?
Right. There's actually not a lot of interactivity at the show. I mean, interactive products are pretty scarce, I think, on the floor, no?
I think we've seen a little bit more of that over the years. I would say that media businesses are more interested in that, in differentiating their experience. We've heard much more on that in the last, I would say, 1-2 years, particularly when it comes to going into new sectors as well. One obvious sector is gaming, which has a lot of synergies with broadcast and media as well.
Of course, but gaming is interactive by nature, of course.
Yeah.
So it starts with an interactive experience.
Yeah, and interactivity, yeah, gaming is all about interactivity.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But with gaming, you see, of course, the most dominant player there is not really a classical broadcaster. It's Twitch, where all the gamers are broadcasting their live shows and having a huge plethora of tools to kind of like make their shows interactive. We don't really see that kind of interactivity in traditional online broadcasts, I think, no?
I think we haven't traditionally, but I think that's one of the challenge for the broadcast and media industry as well, incorporating that interactivity and trying to engage with new generations of viewers as well, who are not used to just a laid-back experience. They want to engage with the content, they want to interact with the content, and they consume content in a variety of ways, not just in one way. Right. So that's one of the big trends that we're seeing, that we call convergence between the broadcast industry and different industries as well, both in terms of business models and in terms of technology tools that they use as well. And I think I've seen a bit of that at the show, and it really affects technology in the sense that some of the technology tools that we're seeing are much more usable, much more easy to use, and I think that's something that we'll continue to see as well.
Interesting. And with those conversions of interactive elements and more in the broadcast industry, will the monetization models change as well?
That's a very interesting part, and that's why I think a lot of broadcasters are more interested in it, because convergence gives you the opportunity to, with interactivity, to gather more data on consumers, and that could enable broadcasters, for example, to monetize content a little bit more easily and to give broadcasters more opportunities for monetization. For example, we've seen a bit more focus on commerce, for example, and technologies that enable broadcasters to increase their revenue sources in that way.
Of course, shopping and direct interaction with shopping articles, obviously. Do you see it going that far, like on a platform like Twitch, where people will buy little stickers, or TikTok, for example, where people buy little small digital assets and throw it to the person of the program they're watching? Will you see this coming also in a more traditional, with traditional I mean with the classical, more broadcast world, or is this too far out for them?
That's a very interesting question. I think that comes to making, let's say, the linear experience converge a little bit more with, and the linear technology stack as well converge a bit more with let's say, the streaming and online experience. But I think you made a perfect example, because Twitch is a platform that we've often mentioned in our presentation as a platform that basically incorporates all the elements that new generations are interested in, like the social element, the interactive element, the gaming element, all together. And I think that's a perfect example of where things could be going in the future. Then having the crystal ball is difficult, but I think it would also be wrong to underrate the potential of new generations affecting the industry as well.
Of course. Pretty interesting. So okay. These things are all big changes. I really hope, I have a love for interactive television and interactivity, and I love Twitch. So I would love to see the industry move in that direction.
I think we are still at an early stage.
We're still at a very early stage. Do you see a timeline in your research when this adoption will actually start to be becoming big enough to make it monetizable, make it a big money earner for the industry, or don't you want to do those predictions?
I think it's very difficult to make this prediction. It would be foolish of me to do so, because it's almost impossible. I would say it's impossible, particularly because another thing we have seen in the industry is that, particularly with AI, which was one of the big highlights of the last research piece that we did, the speed of technological development has reached a new level, because things are moving so fast, and that's why it's so difficult to make predictions in such a volatile world.
Absolutely. AI is making us as researchers difficult to predict the future. That's true. Well, that was it. Thank you very much, Lorenzo, for your insight on the broadcaster industry and the trends and where it's going. This is the last episode for today, but we're back tomorrow with more live from IBC. Thank you for watching, and have a great night.